This video shows my second ride with Espejo in the big arena. In this ride, he really has his attention on his friends that are in a pen off the screen to the left. The focus of this ride is going to be on making it his idea to get his attention off of his friends and what they're up to and on to me and the job that I need him to do. So I'm really going to be working on directing his attention, but in order for it to be highly effective, it needs to be his idea. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that I learned from Dr. Deb Bennett called the Birdie theory. So you will get much more out of this video if you read the accompanying article in the February 2012 issue of Arabian Horse World before watching the video. So here we go. Now you can see where his attention is right now. Like I said, it's off to the left. So that's where his birdie is going to be wanting to go. So here we're just kind of trying to get started with a little yielding. So it's important to keep in mind that the pressure needs to stay on until what was being asked of him occurs. So he's doing a lot of reaching around to sniff my boot. So when he does that, that's not the yield I'm looking for, so I keep the pressure on, and as you've probably noticed, it's much more in an upward direction. So here, he's just really checking it out. How sure am I that I want these yields? And therefore, he's submitting to my requests. As it's going to become very clear, he's kind of got a different agenda in mind today. And that's fine. It's something we all have to learn as we start out on our careers in school. So his ears are quite a telegraph to where his birdie is. As his ears flick back to me, that's where his birdie is. As they prick hard out in front of him, that's where his birdie is. I want to be able to get to where I can call his birdie back. That is something that cannot be forced. So, like I said, he's really wanting to head off there to the left of the screen. And he tends to run into the pressure more when he's headed that way, and I have a different thought in mind, than when he's heading away off to the right of the screen. So clearly, being out in this big space, this arena is 200 by 300 feet. The options are a whole lot more varied than they were in the round pen. He was certainly responding to my requests to turn and change direction in the round pen, but ultimately, there's always that fence there to contain him. And it has a tendency to contain him mentally as well. This is not nearly the container that the round pen is. So there, he's really pushing down on the bit. So in order to get a good yield, he's got to come up. And there's his birdie heading out there again. So rather than keep him out of this corner of the arena, it becomes a more effective method to just make it busy. We've got lots of things we need to work on anyway. We'll just work on them here. So I'd rather it be his idea to decide to stay out of this corner, unless I ask him to go in there, rather than try to make it my job to forever try to keep him out of the corner. So as we go back in there again, we just go back to asking for yields and that sort of thing. There goes his birdie. And there I'm getting it back a little bit. That ear starts to flick back at me. So one thing I really think about in this kind of situation is when he heads into this corner, at the very least I want him to keep his feet moving, and he's starting to get a little draggy about that. So I'm just using the tail end of the macate to reinforce my legs, to let him know I really am serious, that not to just dull out to what I'm requesting with my legs. So he's just kind of running into all the pressure. The bit, my legs. In short, asking me, how sure am I about the plan I've got in mind? So I get him forward, and then he heads back to the corner, and it's at a trot. It's like, that's okay. Trotting works for me. We got to fool with that too. But as I say, okay, how about a turn here? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. So he runs back into me again. So now here I'm able to drop the pressure on him just a little bit as he heads away, and then invariably he decides to check it out heading back in again. But he's the only one that can control his birdie. As the work level starts to get too high where his birdie keeps going, he's going to tell his birdie, this isn't worth it. Let's go out here and see if it's better out there. So now here things are starting to soften out just a little bit, at least briefly. Oh, but let's zoom back. But that's okay. I actually don't want him to think that I would actually try to keep him separated from his birdie. But maybe where his birdie keeps going is sort of busy. So now the fact that I'm working further and further out from the corner is because of him. He's starting to say, maybe this is all right out here, that we go to work out here. So it's getting easier and easier to redirect his attention out of there. And there we go. That's nice. So interestingly, since this video was taken, this particular issue has really not come back up again ever. He really learned a lot from this workout on it's always quieter when he keeps his birdie with me, and when I ask for it to come back, if he does bring it back. 100%? No. But I just haven't had these kind of matters come up again where he's insisting on going close to his buddies or going back to the barn, going and hanging at the gate, that sort of thing. So when you make it the horse's idea, it is really effective. And it's a permanent change. So I kept asking him to look to the right there because I wanted to get off of him on his right side, and I wanted him looking to that side before I stepped off. So that was great. We left that zone of busyness and made it quiet and just called it a day.